Well, thanks everyone for coming out. Attendance tonight, 7,202. We had a gross gate of $949,000 Canadian. Performance bonuses, fight of the night, Pat Cote versus Josh Berkman. 2 performance bonuses as well, Felipe Aranches and Frankie Perez. And before I open up to questions, I just want to give everybody an update on Charles Oliveira. Charles was immediately transported to the hospital. He was alert. He was able to move all his extremities. We are waiting for any updates that we'll get. As soon as we hear them, we'll be able to tell you. But that's the information on Charles Oliveira. So who's got the first question? Robin.
Pat, congrats on a great fight, man.
Thanks, Robin.
Seriously. So through 2 rounds, you've been talking about fighting smart and really mixing it up. And through 2 rounds, you're in charge, up 2 rounds in a brilliant fight. You go into the 3rd, he hits you a couple times. Did you just kind of remember, oh yeah, it's fun to fight like a caveman? Or like, what happened?
No, he rocked me. Yeah, he rocked me. I felt dizzy a little bit, but I've been in this situation in training, and especially with Howard, we work a lot on head movement, and that's what saved me when I was a little bit, against the cage. It was a little bit over my head, and I was moving my head, and he missed a lot, and he get tired, and after that, I was able to capitalize on that. But I just want to say congrats to Josh. We did a great fight tonight because I was a great partner in front of me.
But after he hurt you and you kind of came out and you started throwing a little bit, you could have gone back to taking him down or slowing it down, but you seem to enjoy the idea of spending the last couple of minutes trading with him.
Yeah, listen, we had a ton of respect each other, but at the same time, we're there to fight and give a good show, and that's what we did. Like I said, I have a ton of respect to Josh, but I'm happy that I'm the first one to knock him out in his career for sure.
Yeah, congrats. It was a brilliant fight. And Max, a lot of people will probably say, oh, you didn't want to win it that way or whatever. But anytime you get in with a guy and you get a chance to show, you showed new wrinkles with the body shots, you were moving, you were super confident and comfortable. I mean, really, you're going to win one way or the other. You had to feel that way in that fight. What did it feel like for it to kind of come to an abrupt end?
It sucked, I trained super hard, but it comes with the territory, and my prayers go out to Charles, At the end of the day, these guys got to understand that, he's a ranked number 7 in the world, so he probably only does this and he gets money probably only fighting, and injury sets you back, and if you can't fight, you can't pay your bills, so my prayers out to him, but, it comes with the sport. It's sad to see, but, I felt like Hawaii was here tonight, The crowd was crazy. The crowd was behind me 120%. The Canadian fans is crazy, and I love them.
Tom, a question for you. Just your thoughts on the night tonight. Saskatoon was out early and loud and really supportive across the board, and a good gate, a good attendance figure. Just your thoughts on the evening.
Oh, I thought the evening was terrific. You said it when you said that the crowd was here early. Half the building was full for the first fight. They were loud, they were excited, they responded, and you heard them. Couldn't have been happier.
And for Neil, if I could, there's a card in 2 weeks, but there's no welterweight fights on it. What are you going to do with this time off?
Yeah, the commission kind of forced me to take a seat now and just sit back for the next 14 days. So I'm just going to let my body rest up, get right mentally, go visit family, things like that, and then get right back to the gym when I'm healthy.
Jokes aside, it's 9 fights in 18 months, which is just a ridiculous number. Do you yeah, right? We think Donald Cerrone fights a lot. Do you take some time now and take a little break, or there's a couple welterweight fights in Houston. If somebody gets hurt, are you hitting up Joe Silva again?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, like every opportunity I get to step in the cage is a blessing, and I just want to take full advantage of it. There's going to reach a day where I want to fight and I'm not able to, so if I'm young and I'm healthy and those opportunities come available, I'm going to take full advantage of those blessings and make the best of it.
And for Patrick, you talked about wanting to get a finish a couple days leading up to this. How did it feel? Is it as rewarding as you wanted it to be?
It feels good, It was the first time since 2007 I didn't finish a guy in the UFC. When I was out, I finished 3 guys, but in the UFC it was a long time ago. I feel good, especially here in front of my fans, in front of my crowd. I have a great fan base around the country, and they show that again tonight. I felt the support, and that was special.
Val, you were one of the crowd favorites tonight. The crowd really responded to your fight. General thoughts on it, and you said you really wanted to finish in this one. Do you take something away that it was a real nice fight, or are you still a little meh that you didn't get the finish you wanted?
Mad. I always feel like I could do better, but that's me. I don't think this is gonna change, but yeah, I really wanted to finish that fight. I don't know if that plays against me. I know I've been pretty close to finish it at the first round, but I wanted to win that fight bad.
And for Max, tonight you became the youngest fighter in UFC history to get 10 wins. What does that kind of say about where you're at this point in your career? Obviously, you started early, but you've come a long way since then.
Yeah, all I can say is I work hard, man. The sacrifice is real, I can say. I spend time away from my family, and I'm not gonna waste it. I could be at home, instead of lollygagging at the gym. I could be at home with my son and my family and my wife, but it's just sacrifice, sacrifice to get to the top. You gotta sacrifice things. I can enjoy everything, all these records and whatever. I can enjoy it all later, when I'm sitting down, I'm done fighting, and I'm just happy and getting fat.
And you have the second longest winning streak in this weight class, tied with Conor McGregor, one behind Jose Aldo. What do you feel is next for you? Is it at Frankie Edgar fight? Is that the only thing that makes sense at this point, or is there other options you feel?
UFC works in mysterious ways. I'm sure they're gonna find something for me. But I'm serious. Everybody here, all the writers out here, hashtag UFC Hawaii. Tell Dana White you all want to go to Hawaii. It'd be a great trip. I promise. It's super fun. So let's get UFC to Hawaii, and why not get a better fight in Frankie Edgar? Holloway versus Edgar in a stadium. It'd be huge.
Yeah, and last thing, I know you want that Conor McGregor rematch at some point. You said before the fight you were very complimentary towards him, but you said if I asked you about him again after the fight, you'd have a different answer. So what do you think about getting that rematch, and how far off do you think it is?
I'd fight him any day of the week. Now I don't have a fight. Now I can talk how I feel. I'll fight him any day of the week. UFC could have called me up for the last one. I would have took him. But they didn't. They chose Chad, and I'd love to fight him. You want to talk money? Holloway versus McGregor, you got money with the number 2 in that fight.
A question for Valérie. Your fight was fairly back and forth through the first 2. I thought you dominated the first, and then the second maybe could have gone either way. And your opponent was doing a good job of stifling any offense from the top when you managed to get her down. And you'd made the conscious decision to just get up in the third and then try and exchange with her. Do you think at that point when you got up, did you think you had done enough to win the fight then? And after those exchanges, by the end of the third, do you think you had done enough to win the fight?
Oh, I definitely feel like I've done enough to win the fight. There's no doubt in my mind. She's known for her submission, and I didn't want to do a stupid move, and I know I was winning the fight, so just keep going, stand up, that's my strength. And I was feeling her on the ground. I was doing some good stuff, and some I feel like I could maybe do a mistake, so just not play there and play with the fire.
Question for Tom. All the talk seems to be about stadiums these days, whether it's Australia or in the States, down in Dallas or Ireland or Hawaii, as Max said. Canada has so many fantastic stadiums, new one in Hamilton, new one in Winnipeg, a new one going to be opening up in Regina in just over a year. Do you think the UFC would ever consider trying to do a, obviously, summertime stadium show in Canada?
You know what? That's a really interesting thought. I'd like nothing better than to have that opportunity. But everything has to align. As you know, UFC 193 is going to Etihad Stadium in Melbourne, Australia, on November the 15th, and that's going to be an incredible day. And it's a tall order, but we're really confident with the fights that we're bringing. We're confident about our fan base there, and you know what? If something comes around in the future that that's the right mix of all those kinds of elements in terms of the fights and the athletes and the kind of opportunities that they might come up, sure, we'd look at it.
Val, in this fight, you had maybe 10 years more experience than her. You looked far more comfortable on the feet, more skilled on the feet. What's it like to fight somebody who you're outskilling, but they just have so much heart? You know, that girl just kept coming. She kept taking it, and she never really got discouraged. What's that feel like?
I knew she was going to be like that. I was expecting that. But I've been in a tough fight before, and nothing's going to make me give up I just give my 100% till the end of the fight. And I don't think I can be surprised by anything now since I fought, everybody knows I fought Sarah Kaufman, Alexis Davis at the beginning of my career. So this is something that nobody can take away from me, and I know where I've been before, and I'm always going to have that, that experience.
Yeah, the reason I ask is when you watch somebody just hit somebody and hit them and push them back and beat them, it feels like it could be discouraging, like you'd ask yourself, what do I have to do? But you just kept driving.
That's the thing. You just, don't give up. Don't give up till the end. Give everything you have. The result's going to be the result, but you just got to keep pushing till the end of the third or till the end of the fight.
And Pat, when you look at Max here, and you hear him talk, and you see his confidence, you see how good he is. You're a veteran now. What do you think, and how different is the fight world now for Max Holloway than it was for you?
So you say I'm old?
You're old, Pat.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're
good.
old, Pat. Also,
yeah, that's good. No, it's good. It's awesome to see guys like that so skilled at this young age, and now he's on, an incredible streak too. I'm a big fan of Max. I love watching him fighting, and it's good because like I said, I'm old, and we're getting old, and we need some spectacular guys like him to give a good show to the fans.
All right, Max. Main event slot. How were the butterflies backstage before? This morning as fight got closer, how were you feeling?
I felt great, man. If I'm fighting on the first fight of the card or anything, any place on the card, it doesn't matter. It felt good. It felt kind of crazy doing the opposite side walkout. That was about it. That was pretty cool, the split walkout. But it was crazy. At the end of the day, I trained for a fight. And I'm here to fight, and I don't want to fight. And the crowd made it easy here. I thought I was back in Hawaii. They was chanting my name, screaming my name, and I love Canada, man. They made me feel at home.
All right, Patrick. Talk before about all the places that you have fought. How does this crowd? How's it compare in your eyes? Because you got maybe the biggest ovation.
Every time I fight in Canada, it's great for me. I think I'm 17-1 in Canada. So if you come back, I'll fight in Canada anytime. I have a lot of success, and we knew it. That's the first time the UFC come to Saskatoon, and they wanted to come here since a long time. There was just a problem with the commission, but you see the response to the crowd. They are great fans here of mixed martial art, and for sure when you're from the country, you feel the support. Same thing in Montreal, same thing everywhere in Canada. When I fought in Quebec City, it was the same thing, and here that was just insane.
Tom, approaching 1 million gate. Good number. Would you have liked the attendance to have been? Were you expecting it to be a little higher than 7,200?
You know what, Dave? $1 million gate on a Sunday in Saskatoon. I couldn't be happier.
For Neil, when they read that first scorecard, 29-28 Silva, what was going through your mind?
I was worried for a second. I remember seeing my coach's eyes get big when they were discussing it in the corner. I was like, oh, wait a minute, what happened? What's going on? But then once they read the first one, I was like, all right, that's kind of weird, but let's see how it plays out. I mean, whenever you leave it to a judge's hands, that's the risk you take. So I was just going to have to sit there and see what happens.
Yeah, and how big was this win for you? Obviously, a couple weeks ago in Brazil, didn't go your way, and you were able to put that behind you tonight.
Sure. I mean, this win was huge. I mean, you're thinking on a 4-day camp, you can't get much better physically, but mentally, I was able to go in there and put all that aside and focus on what was ahead of me. And I feel like that's something I lost track of my last fight. I mean, I got to the point I was in a 7-fight win streak, and I was just so worried about so many other things that I couldn't control. So to put all that stuff aside and focus on what I had to do tonight and come out with a win was just perfect. It shows my maturity in just a short period of time.
Awesome. And then for Pat, it sounded like you called out Hector Lombard in your post-fight interview. Can you explain why you did that? And, do you think that's a fight you can get when he's back from a suspension at the end of January, February?
The thing is, a year ago, he called me for absolutely nothing. That was my second fight in 170, and I don't know, he didn't have any fight. I don't know if he needed money or something like that, but he called me for no reason. And this fight at this time didn't make any sense. For me, and especially for him, he was in top 5 or top 6, and he called me, and I wasn't even in top 15. I'm getting closer to top 15. Maybe I'm gonna be there after tonight. We'll see. But I think now this fight makes sense now. So, you know what? He's gonna come back in January, and I can say that tonight that I'm ready to accept this challenge for sure.
Question for Val. You've got, I think, 3 straight wins now in the strawweight division. I don't, other than Joanna, I'm not sure that anybody else has that kind of a streak going. You should get into the top 15 now after this win. How far away do you think you are from, challenging for a title, and do you feel like you're ready for that?
UFC can tell better than me. I'm definitely getting closer, that's for sure. I'm hopefully going to jump in the top 10 after this fight and see what they plan for me. I'm ready to fight anybody in the top 10, just not my teammate for now, please. So besides that, I will take any challenge.
Okay, and then also for Neil, you just obviously 3 weeks ago came off that fight with Demian Maia, who, tough veteran. You took the fight. I'm sure a lot of people thought that maybe, he was kind of a step above you, pretty high in the rankings. But now you'll be in the rankings, and you haven't really necessarily talked about anyone in specific that you might have your eyes on. Do you kind of have someone in the back of your mind, or just anybody?
Nope. David Maya did a good job of humbling me. I mean, I never thought about who I was going to fight before. I just accepted a phone call and worked hard and went out there and fought my fight. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy to start jumping out, calling people out. I'm the guy that just works hard and takes advantage of your opportunities. So that's what I'm going to stick to. That's what works for me, and that's what I'll continue to do. So as soon as I heal up, I'm back in the gym and waiting by the phone to see what's next.
And Neil,
we'll take one more question, okay, Robin?
All right. Neil, when you look at you right now, we talked about this before the fight. You make a lot of sense as a last-minute guy. You fight your fight. That's the way you need to fight. You're a challenge for anybody to deal with on 2 weeks, and you train at elevation. Are you going to take a lot of fights on short notice if they pop up? I mean, it makes sense for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's just all about opportunity. I mean, every single opportunity I have to do what I love is a blessing, so I need to take full advantage of it. I mean, when I'm old and beat up and I can't fight anymore, I wish I had the opportunity to do it again. So if those opportunities keep coming now, I'll take full advantage of them if I'm healthy and able to go.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Good job.